kind of a top-heavy fraction there. It's kind of a top-heavy fraction there.
Yep. And then it's going to be 9 over 7. Divide that by 10. You're just really dividing the 90 by 10, and then you get 9 over 7. Do that in the calculator. Just use your answer. Divide your answer by 10. Change that back to a fraction. You get 9 over 7.
Oh, that looks better.
Now you guys with the TI, the 30X, are you able to do those on that calculator?
You can't change it to a fraction.
Yeah, you can. The F to D button?
The what?
That says F to D?
Right above
Yeah.
PRB.
PRB?
Right above
I didn't
that.
know that. I was just
Yeah, the F to D changes fraction to a decimal or vice versa. And then if it's giving you mixed numbers, then right below that is the button that'll change. It says A, B, C to D, E.
Yeah.
That'll change a mixed number to an improper fraction. Okay, now this is one you have to type as an ordered pair, which I like the ones better where it says X equals and Y equals, because then it'll tell you if your X is right or your Y is wrong. If one's right, one's wrong. This one you just have to type the whole thing and it just grades the whole thing. So you don't really know if you got one of them right. Unless you get both of them right. Now it's pretty common here that if you have fractions, they'll have the same denominator. It's not 100%. That's not 100% true, but it's pretty common. So if you get like 3 over 7, then you get like 9 over 22 or something, you might say, hey, that looks a little funny. Because lots of times they have the same denominator. Because if you're plugging in something with a denominator, then your answer will end up taking that denominator too. All right, anybody else on assignment 15?
22.
22. Oh, safe investment and risky investment, 9% and 11%.
If I could just figure out how to write it, I'd probably be able to figure it out.
Okay. So, what you want to do is you want to let your X be the amount you invest at 1% and your Y be the amount you invest at the other percent. Okay, writing. Okay, so I've got the amount at 9% and the amount at 11%. Okay, so I'm going to have two equations. One is going to be for the total amount. So the total amount would be X plus Y, and that has to be equal to the amount that I have to invest, which is $105,000.
So how do you know it's the total amount?
Because they said I had $105,000 to invest, and whatever the breakdown is, I'm going to assume that I'm going to invest all my money.
Okay.
So if I invest some in one account and some in the other account, then it has to add up to the amount that I have.
Okay.
So we're going to assume that we're investing all of our money. Now the second equation I'm going to have is for my return. And I know that I want my return equal to $9,970. How would I calculate the return on my accounts?
You change it into decimal.
Right. So you multiply your decimal return
by 100.
So you change your percent return to a decimal, and then to calculate your return on that account, you can just multiply the percent by the amount you invested. Okay? So if you invest X dollars and you earn a return of 9%, then your return on that account would be 9% times X, which is 9% or 11% times the amount you invested. So 0.09x, so that's 9% times x amount, plus 11% times y amount, that'd be 0.11y.
So we're just right. That's our two equations right there.
That's your two equations.
Can we
Now,
rewrite?
how do they solve this one? Do they do substitution on this one?
They use elimination.
They use elimination? So they multiply the second equation by 100?
They
That's really not necessary.
they multiply it by I forget. It's really confusing how
Well,
they do it.
Well,
they're
they
trying to get
gotta
rid
get,
of the
you gotta get your
stuff.
year, that year has to figure into this too.
The year?
Yeah,
It's per year. So every time you do the equation, it's per year.
That doesn't figure out, that doesn't
I'm on the wrong one. Is this problem 21? I'm on the wrong one.
This is 22.
No.
Now what I would do here is I would just take my two equations and just do elimination without changing anything. So how would I do elimination on this? Say I want to eliminate x. I've got my second equation, I've got positive 0.09, multiply your first equation by negative 0.09.
Yeah.
Now we don't need to multiply by 100 or whatever, we can deal with decimals.
You also probably could divide the entire lower thing by negative 0.09.
No, you don't want to.
That's an inverse function, but
You could, that's. So I'd have negative 0.09x minus 0.09y equals, and then I want to do 105,000 times negative 0.09. I get negative 945.
well, that comes out nice.
Yeah, that does come out. Oh, no, then I left off a zero. So
Yeah.
it's going to be 9450, right? Just going to add a zero on my answer. Yep.
Oh.
That still works out well.
Yeah.
Okay? So then I can add my equation. Positive 0.09x, negative 0.09x cancel out. 0.11y minus 0.09 would be 0.02y. And then 970 minus 450 is 520.
You divide them both by 0.02.
Okay, then just divide them both by 0.02. And that gives me 520 divided by 0.02 is $26,000.
For Y.
For Y. So Y was my 11% account, so I do $26,000 in the 11% account. Okay? And then to find your X, if I had $105,000 total, then you just subtract 26,000 from that to get your leftovers. Just do 105,000 minus 26,000. That gives you $79,000.
So that works because you're investing the total of 105, and since you invested 26, you have what's left over would be in the X.
Whatever's left over must be in the other account.
Okay.
Because I've got nowhere else to put it.
So that's not actually income, that's just what you're investing into it.
Yes. Your income would be the percentage times the amount.
Okay.
If you add those percentages times the amount together, they should add up to 9970. Okay, so 79,000 in the 9% account and 26,000 now if I can earn 11% on one account, why wouldn't I just throw all my money in the higher amount? Higher percentages are always riskier. So you wanna have some of your money in a safe account, some of your money in a risky account.
Good, B.
B. Usually the rule of thumb they say is 100 minus your age is the percent you should have in risky investment. So if you're 20 years old, you would put 80% of your investment in a risky account. Like the stock market is considered risky. Because you could lose all your money tomorrow. But if you're 90 years old, you'd only want to keep 10% in a risky account because you don't want to lose all your money when you're 90 years old because you don't have time for it to regenerate. So that's usually what they say in economics class. 100 minus your age in a risky account.
It seems weird. So what if you're over 100?
Really? What a...
You put a negative 2% inside your account?
I don't know, I'm not an investment advisor.
Whatever, thinking everything.
Yeah, I have to think of the call.
It's very unlikely that I would live to be over 100. My people are not very sturdy. My family's lucky that they get to 70.
Ooh.
Alright, anybody else on assignment 15? Before we go on to do practice test. Alright, practice final. Now, I need you guys to put aside your homework or whatever you're doing and work on this with me. So not the final exam. Final exam, well these are out of order. Final exam practice test. Final exam practice test. Everybody open the final exam practice test. Now it should give you all the problems in the same order. They're just going to give you different numbers so we can all work together.
No. Mine's completely different.
Your number 1 is completely different?
Mine's the same.
Alright, everybody submit the test and I'll see if I can fix that. Everybody submit it, doesn't matter. I'm not going to count it.
Well, you got them all wrong.
The practice final, right, is what we're doing?
Yeah, the practice final.
And you want us to submit it?
Yeah, just submit it. No, it's not set on Scramble. Huh. There you guys are on the final exam practice test?
They're kind of confusing.
Yep, let's start it again. It should not let you in the regular final exam because there's a password on it.
Now I have a different one.
Okay, so
Yeah,
how
I
do
don't
we
have
answer the
anything.
domain and range question?
There-
Is this correspond as a function?
It's a domain. The function. Yeah.
I'm not on that question.
I think it's 3 different questions. There's different options for each question.
I still don't have that one.
I still don't have that one either.
Well, what do you guys have then?
They have Leslie over here has a domain and range. Or
Mine is,
domain
determine whether the relation was a function. That's the same question. Why describe a function of x? They're all function questions. Yeah, that's the same question, guys. They all say is y a function of x. Some of you have a table, some of you have a little graph thingy. But what are we looking for? We're looking for is it a function or not?
We're looking to make sure we have no 2 values of y.
What are we looking for? Repeating x's.
X's?
Repeating x's. That's not a domain and range question, it just says domain and range. Like domain is your x values, range is your y question, or your y values. Okay? The questions all say the same thing. They say, is y a function of x? Okay, you're looking for repeated x's. If you have no repeated x's, which is your domain column,
I'm getting confused with one-to-one.
repeated y's is okay. Repeated y's is if you're looking for the inverse. No repeated x values, it is a function.
Now, if you did have a repeated x value, but you had the same y output, then that doesn't count.
Correct.
It's only when you have two x
If you have
inputs.
repeated x's with different y values, then it's not a function. Okay, so all of your x values are different. My answer is yes.
What do you call it when it can't have the same y output as well? What's that definition?
One-to-one, yeah.
That's what I was getting confused.
Yeah, it doesn't talk about one-to-one. It's strictly, is it a function or not? If it's just talking about a function, you're only looking for repeated x values. Okay, number 2. So my question says, use the graph to determine A, the function's domain, B, the function's range, the x-intercept, the y-intercept, the missing function values. So first I want to find the domain of this function.
0 infinity up to, looks like 1.
Domain means what x
Oh,
values
x value,
can it
so-
have? So you guys said 0 to infinity?
Is negative infinity to positive infinity. The range is negative infinity to 1.
But hold on for a second. I heard somebody say 0 to infinity. I heard 0 to 4.
We have different graphs.
Okay? Okay, if you're looking at mine, if you're looking at mine, I can have any x values. Okay? Because that parabola is spreading left to right, so I can have any x values.
It doesn't appear to ever
So
stop.
it would be a minus 8 to a 5?
No, negative infinity to positive infinity. The graph doesn't end with what they show me. The graph goes on forever. So it goes on forever in either direction.
Okay, so it would be it'd be infinity, minus infinity to infinity.
Yes.
Negative
Now, if
x
your graph
values
stops
going down,
somewhere on
and
the
it starts at the
x-axis, then you would just do that number to positive infinity or negative infinity to that number. But you're looking for the x values there. My x values go on forever in either direction.
Now, as a point,
far
do I
to the
put
left is it good? How far to the
do I
right
use
is it good?
parentheses or are you using
I would use a bracket on that one.
bracket?
The range for you it starts at -4. So it goes down. So
Now, what about my range here?
Yours is 1,
I stop at positive 1. So I would do negative infinity up to positive 1. Okay, and I'm going to use a bracket on that. It's just at a height of 1 on the y-axis.
Oh.
Now, what are my x-intercepts here? 0 and 4. And my y-intercept looks like also 0, where I'm crossing the y-axis. then the last two questions is gonna ask me for f of -2 and f of +2. F of -2 would be this point down here. And f of +2 would be this point up here. So I need to look at the y values of those 2 points. F of -2, my y value is -3. And f of +2, my y value is
1.
1. Okay. Now I'm gonna come around and do you guys need help with your problem if you have a different graph?
Well, the y-intercept, I'm confused, like I know, is it where you cross the y-intercept?
It's where you cross the y-axis.
Okay, but what about the f of -2? So do I go, on my graph I get a -2, and then what?
That's -2x. That's
Hold
x
on
is
a second, let me
Okay.
jump in again. You have no x on your side. That looks good. Yep, that works. You're crossing the y-axis at 1. You're crossing the x-axis at -1 and +1.
Oh, I'm going on here, so we're going to
You go to x is -2 and then go down to -4.
Okay.
Don't put those in parentheses, it's just a list. X is -1 and it's not an order.
Really simple. Have Mountain Dew.
This is backwards, it's -2 to -2. It's always
Right,
lower.
it's that lower than that,
Anybody else want me to
like a
check
balloon
yours?
if I took one, but I'm sorry.
I gotta go on every time. I don't know how to do it. I don't have to.
That's the hardest thing. We
Yeah,
did
what's that?
this one day. It wasn't really that. It was more of a
That
piece.
one's easier.
And basically what it said was 3 meals a day, you ate 9. But they were small. And it was funny because, it was like 1 tablespoon of candle
This one
snack,
has the graph. This one here has the graph.
a block of cheese. It was,
Here.
very big block of cheese.
What do you want these now?
Does it not start?
Yeah, about that size. Those were your, there was 2 snacks in between every meal, and every meal was basically a snack also. It was like a 2 snacks combined. And since there was 9 a day, you were basically having a meal almost every single hour of that hour and 15 minutes. So you eat it, you're doing something, oh hey, I gotta eat another meal again. You're constantly eating, constantly eating, constantly eating. Interestingly enough, we actually
Look
did
at this as
doing
3
that.
separate things. So the first one, it wants to know after 2 when you're doing it.
F of -2 means
I
go to x is
I can
-2
sit
and then
and
tell me your y value.
Okay, next it wants to know what's after 2 when you're doing just this. That over there. No, this isn't the graph for it. This is something different. This is a whole different thing. Yeah, no, they have nothing to do with sugar.
I think it's interesting because we have dietitians and all
So
that.
then you'll do the
over
same
here.
thing for the third, just different graph.
Every other country has that.
Here you're gonna use
I
this
mean,
for number 2
other
for
countries
B.
like Germany.
Don't worry, because I haven't taken that in and it's
No, that's just it. It's not the
So your
food.
x,
It's
now your
also
tail look for your
because
y.
in Germany they'll eat fried cheese.
So you go to a different x to look for your
And
y.
they'll eat Dumbledore. Get up.
Okay, number 3 is 3
And
separate
not exactly.
questions. Part A, you use the table. So for part A, just look at the table. So from the table, f of -1. Oh, come on. Oh, I really don't know anything. Okay. Oh, come on.
Hopefully next year you won't have the same classroom.
The best one is B206 down at Boone. You in that class, B206? Oh, that's my good computer. It's beautiful.
I know, it's been on
It used to be the worst, and then they upgraded the software, so maybe now it's better. Okay, so from the table, f of negative 1 is equal to positive 1.
On the equation.
Part B, I use my equation, which is y equals 9 minus 4x squared. Okay, so to find f of negative 1, I want to plug in x is negative 1. If you're going to put it in the calculator, make sure you put the negative 1 in parentheses. So a lot of you guys get a question wrong in exam 3 because you squared a negative number and got a negative answer. No parentheses. Okay, so negative 1 squared is positive 1, 9 minus 4 is 5. So I should be getting 5 there for my answer. Okay, and then part C, I use my graph, f of negative 1. So go to x is negative 1 and then find your y value. So my y value there would be positive 1 again. Your graph may be in a different place. Go to x is negative 1 and then find your y value.
And positive's negative 1.
What?
On mine, it looks like negative 1, but once I zoom in, I actually see it's 2. I'm just wondering if you're positive that's... Can't see now because it's generated that on it. Okay.
Now, on next one,
Hold on, let's finish this one before we go to the next.
There's more? Oh, it's reviewing.
So you want to find f of 0.
Go on to the next one.
That means x is 0. So go to x equals 0 and then tell me the y value. Y value.
If you plug negative 1 into that equation, the equation.
When x is 0, if I go to the graph, the y value is negative 0.
Make sure you pick negative for the graph. Comes out negative. Something's not right.
I have a question. On my graph, it doesn't call for y graph.
Then go over. Yep. Where is negative 1 on this book?
Where your y is. Exactly what point
You
is
want
the graph
negative 1.
at? And the x value, the y value.
Fine.
Find the point on the graph.
You just said where's negative 1, I'm
No,
like
no, no.
right there, and
F0.
right there.
Well,
I'm
yours would be where it
fine.
crosses the line.
Right there.
Okay. So we go. We hit these lines. Go up. Or for our add.
Negative 1.
Yes. This is negative, but where it's lying is 1.
1.
Yeah. So y value is 1. We plug in negative 1. We get a graph.
What's your x value? That's not possible.
No.
No, your x value is 3. So
What did I do last time?
when x is yeah, because the thing got 3 in places. When x is 3, your y value it's 3 separate problems. C, only look at the graph. 3 x is 3, y is negative 2. No, you go to the graph. Y is negative 2. No, when x is 3, would be right here. The point on the graph has a y value of negative 2.
Have to work on that quite literally. I do. I started
Everybody else okay on number 3? So what I'm looking for here, my x value is negative 1. What's your x value? What number do you have in parentheses?
But on my
Negative 1. You go to x equals negative
16
1.
hours day. I'm not working 4 hours.
No, 3 separate problems.
6
Part
or
C, only use
5
the
hours
graph.
between 1 and 6.
So go to x equals negative 1. And what's your y value where the graph goes through?
No.
Where's the graph?
Why do I still get paid lunch? And then we pay taxes on top of what we pay, so it's like...
Yeah, so your y value is also negative 1.
Okay. Okay.
So look at the point on the graph.
Yeah, you're doing.
Maybe this way.